Hello everyone, it is Supercell, so welcome back to another episode of Clash Royale, and today we're kicking off the very first ever Top 5 in Clash Royale, and this is a series in which we're taking a subject that can be anything about Clash Royale. If you guys got any ideas for episodes, make sure you leave them in the comment section down below. What kind of top 5 you guys would like to see? Also, I want feedback from you guys. If you dislike the way I'm doing this series, then I would like to hear ways on how to improve the series. Of course, in the beginning it's not gonna be perfect, and most importantly, some of you are gonna be disagreeing with anything that I say. Feel free to dislike the video if you disagree with what I'm saying, but don't cause any drama or hate inside of the comments. But if you guys got any constructive thing to say, if you want to elaborate why you disagree with what I'm saying, then of course, comment section is always great. I'd love to hear your opinions and thoughts on the matters that we're going to be talking about. The very first top 5 is going to be consisting of the worst cards in Clash Royale. Now, I hear a lot of you guys already saying, Expo, 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 and you already hear with your pitchforks and everything, and the fiery torches, but this is the worst cards in Clash Royale in terms of functionality, how they work, how they function in decks. The worst cards. I mean, there's a reason why the Expo is considered to be the most hated card, and that's because it keeps taking down base in a really unfair way. But that doesn't mean it is a bad card, it's just a really annoying card. And that is a list for another episode. So today, we're breaking down the top 5 of the worst cards in Clash Royale. Here we go. Rage Spell. Or should I say it, haste spell, because honestly this is just a haste spell in disguise. I mean, there's no rage to discard. Yeah, sure, you got a little bit of extra attack speed and movement speed, but there's no damage increase. So that is the whole purpose of the rage spell. It needs to buff up the units to make it stronger, to take down those towers, and to make that surprise push. That's where a rage spell really should be kicking in. Just like Clash of Clans, this card needs to have the ability to increase your damage, and then it doesn't matter if it even costs you 4 elixir or not. This card simply just needs to have a damage increase, and then it would be a valuable card in any type of deck. I still remember the very first time that someone deployed a skeleton army against me and he just took me down as if it was nothing. That really impressed me, and then I started using the card myself and had all of these great ideas on how to use the skeleton army with like the prince or with the baby dragon or with something else, and then someone threw arrows at my skeletons and they just instantly died. I mean, the skeleton army is a great idea, but the issue with the card, it's too squishy. For 4 elixir that you're paying for a defensive card, this card really doesn't really bring anything to the table and will be countered by literally anything. Even if your crown tower is free, you just simply deploy like spear goblins or archers behind your crown tower and they just start to count who took down the most skeletons or something like this. This card should not be used in any type of deck because it simply doesn't work. Of course, any type of card could work in the right setup, but this card simply is not worth the value. So it honestly kinda hurts me to put this card into the top 3 of worst cards in Clash Royale, because I did do a spotlight on this card that will be linked in the video description down below, but this card simply just doesn't really work. It is too expensive for what you're getting out of this card. It has a reasonable amount of health, it does quite a bit of damage onto a tower if it reaches it, but because of the health being decent and not amazing, it simply gets struck down too easily, too early for it to really be a threat whenever you're deploying the Royal Giant. Simply it is too slow. If only it was a little bit faster, or the range would be a little bit more, or maybe the elixir would be 5 and maybe it'd be doing a little bit more damage, this card would have been used a lot more, and yeah, that's just Royal Giant, kind of unfortunate. So, the 3 Musketeers, there's a reason why it's in number 2 and not in rank number 1. And it is because the 3 Musketeers has some usability where I think number 1 barely has any. The 3 Musketeers is a very specific card that should be played in very specific scenarios, but can make you win the game. And this game is all about winning, so it's not the worst card, but it's almost the worst card into the game. This card is far too expensive for what it's worth. It is 10 elixir, it is so squishy that it can be taken out by a simple fireball, or splash attack. It can also do like a wizard, can already do quite a bit of damage onto it. But other than that, if this card gets placed correctly, it's a force to be reckoned with. But yeah, you know, 10 elixir, too expensive, rank number 2, 3 Musketeers. Coming in rank number 1, an absolute no-brainer for me, the Valkyrie. Now, some of you guys may have some arguments, and allow me to address these arguments to you guys, because I can totally see where you're coming from. Well, it's a unit that's relatively tanky and does splash damage onto ground units, which is great. Yes, and I agree, that is great. Only for the fact that she's relatively slow. She doesn't have a whole lot of health, and she doesn't do a whole bunch of damage. In fact, when it comes down to her damage, there's a card out there that actually outclasses her and is costing you 1 elixir less and does the exact same thing. And that's called the Bomber. The Bomber costs 3 elixir, attacks ground units, and does more damage on the ground than it does than the Valkyrie does. And it also does splash damage. That automatically makes the Valkyrie a pretty terrible card when you ask me. Not only that, but the Valkyrie was a relatively valuable card until the Dark Prince appeared. The Dark Prince is simply outclassing the Valkyrie in every single aspect as well. It pretty much does the same amount of damage, if not a little bit more. Cannot confirm this, I might be wrong. But the Dark Prince is faster, it has that shield ongoing, it does splash damage, not all around, but it does splash damage, so there's no point for the Valkyrie to be there, to be frank, honestly. Like, the Valkyrie will always be the second or the third alternative to be used in any type of deck. But on lower levels, I do have to agree, the Valkyrie can be a pretty valuable card to be using. But then again, the Bomber will still outdamage her. That's why I think the Valkyrie is the most terrible card in Clash Royale. Either it needs to be going down to 3 elixir, or she needs to be getting a massive buff. So there it is, my top 5 of the worst cards in Clash Royale. Let me know in the comment section down below if you agree or disagree, and most importantly why that is. And make sure you keep in mind that these are also strictly just my opinions, and in general the top 5 list can never always be perfect to everybody's opinions. So yeah, at least I wanted to share this with you guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Make sure that if you guys did like this video, to give it a thumbs up, and also make sure to comment your idea for a top 5 list in the comment section down below. That's it for me for now. I've been Reversal for Clash Royale Top 5. I'm gonna be signing off, and I'll see you guys in the next one.